I get a meal here?
Sure, you can get a meal here and a lot more than that, too. We'll need to fill out some application papers. Come on in, let's talk over your problem.
I haven't got any problem.
Are you sure he was sober when he fell?
Oh, I think it was malnutrition. Michael Adams doesn't seem to be an alcoholic. Says he was divorced 3 times, no children.
Well, he's emotionally unstable. Perhaps when he sees our program, he'll want our help.
Major, do you suppose this man knows what his problems really are?
Well, I think that's one of his problems.
Men enter our full-time rehabilitation center for many reasons that are usually discernible. Alcoholism, drug addiction, emotional instability, readjustment after prison, among other general classifications. The problems of Michael Adams were more deeply hidden. To help all men recognize and overcome their problems, we provide living conditions designed to encourage self-respect. Every man admitted into the program receives presentable clothing, food that is appetizing as well as nourishing, served in a pleasant atmosphere. Men who come to the center often suffer from physical neglect, so medical and dental care are also provided. Regular chapel service is an important part of our full-time program, for we have learned that each man has a better chance of readjusting if he can find himself through a spiritual awakening. We make use of all the practical tools at our disposal, including psychological techniques such as group therapy, enabling the men to express their problems in relation to one another.
Oh, yeah, I worked as a logger and a lumberman, and I drove a race car for a while, and I went down south, picked fruit, and I've done all kinds of jobs. I've done things that you just wouldn't believe. I worked in the circus for a while, and I did all kinds of crazy things. I guess you can say I've lost about 1 job for every year of my life, and I'll never see 40 again. Well, it wasn't my fault.
Everybody else is out of step, hmm?
Oh, you said it, I didn't. You want us to believe all that?
You're not kidding yourself.
If this is what group therapy is like, I sure wouldn't ask for it.
Most men who come to the center say they want to be left alone. That's why we encourage social activities to involve each man with his fellow mankind.
My name is Tom Marsh. There's time for a game before dinner. No offense, pal. Just a friendly way of getting acquainted.
Look, why don't you ask him?
Well, now, Dave isn't exactly the social kind.
Well, neither am I.
Maybe he hasn't. He has spent so much time in prison, it's hard to get used to life outside.
You're pretty good at other people's business. What's your problem, Buster?
Not Buster. Tom. Since you ask me, I'll tell you. My problem is, I'm an alcoholic. I can't even take 1 drink without going off the deep end. And the fact that I know it doesn't stop me from wanting another drink. And there isn't an hour in here that I don't know it. All I know is that another day has almost gone by. And it looks to me like I've made another day. I'm not sure what I can do about it. But at least I know what my problem is.
Look, I didn't mean to shake you up.
It's all right. It helps to share your problems. Maybe you'll change your mind about a game.
Who needs it?
All of our residents are under some kind of pressure. It doesn't take much to shatter their nerves. So I wasn't surprised when Mike came into my office.
Major Warren?
Yes? Oh, you're Mike Adams.
I'm checking out, Major.
Have a chair.
Nothing to talk about.
Well, sit down anyway.
You're not going to stop me.
Let's see. You entered our program 3 weeks ago. You've already registered complaints about being assigned to an 8-man room. You've protested group therapy, and you've complained about having to attend chapel.
I'll make it on my own.
Well, you didn't do so well before you got here, Mike, and you haven't made any progress since. With one exception. You do have a good work record in work therapy.
Yeah, I'll bet.
In just 3 weeks, you're already outperforming some experienced men alongside you in the carpenter shop. It's a beginning, Mike. A good beginning.
At 3 weeks in the program, many of the men convince themselves they can make it on their own. At 3 months, those who stick it out are no longer so sure they can control their problems, which is particularly difficult for a man who wouldn't admit to having any problems at all.
Hey, how's that for a polish, Major?
Just like mahogany.
I thought you'd like it.
Frankly, Mike, I don't. It's fine work, Mike, but too fine for the requirements of this particular job. This isn't mahogany, it's plywood. And what's more, it's going to be kept out of sight in the back of a cabinet drawer.
Look, I can't help it if I have to make everything perfect. That's always been my problem.
How much does it cost him to learn even a small part of the truth about himself? How much must he pay for each insight into his emotional handicaps? For Mike, a contrite period followed in which he appeared to have rejoined the human race.
I'm going to play this game on one condition. Dave keeps score. Look, if I'm going to play a Sharpie like Tom, I'm going to need all the help I can get. You're a scorekeeper, okay?
An alcoholic, an ex-convict, and a man who still would not admit to any major problems. The self-development of the tenuous bond between such unlikely companions is one of the gradual processes we encourage at the center, to help men want to help themselves. After 6 months, Mike's vocational development was progressing favorably, but he still refused to face the hard issues that had caused him so many failures in his past life.
This little guy can keep right on doing what he's doing, Major. But me, I've been on this job too long again. I'm getting stale.
Mike, that's the same pattern that's cost you so many jobs. Why are you afraid of failure? Why, Mike?
Look, Major, I got to get these out today. I promised the foreman I'd have them ready.
Ruined. He ruined the whole batch.
But they can be painted over.
I can't run a shop that way, Major.
You're right. Didn't you know that Mike's bed was empty last night?
Well, I should have known. There's a man who can't stand any pressure at all. I'll bet he's out in the gutter drunk all night.
I don't think so. I don't think Mike's ever had to fight the bottle. But he's probably out there fighting something that's just as difficult for him.
And I don't know what else to tell you except that I'm with it.
You're not with anything, and you've never been with a carny. We've got an unattended gate here, and we can use a man, so you can be on for temporary wages, as long as you last.
What do you mean, as long as I last? Well, I'll really give the customers a ride for their money.
Look, you just take care of the tickets. I'll send an operator over.
Okay. Hey, kid, this must be your lucky day. Listen, I'm the new operator here, and I'm going to give you the first ride free. Come on, right over here.
I work here.
Oh, well, I guess that's a pretty good deal for you.
A job like this keeps me in school, that's all.
Well, at least you're doing it. That's the me, I'm a drifter. I got to keep moving around, else I'm not happy.
Say, you ought to meet my dad.
Yeah?
He's a big-time operator just like you.
Well, why don't you bring him around?
Nobody knows where he is. Nobody cares. He likes to keep moving, too.
Sounds to me like you're a little hard on your old man.
He's a load I just can't carry. And you better not give away free rides or you won't last here.
Look, kid, you don't understand. Nobody.
I understand. We don't need any bums around here, Buster. We're running a business.
we're making progress, Mike. So you can come back, but on probation.
Major, I'm just glad for the second chance.
For work therapy, we moved Mike out onto a truck route as helper. He assisted the drivers, furthering his adjustment to life in the outside world. And in calling on housewives and businesses for collections of donated materials, he gained experience in getting along with people. In the process, Mike learned a great deal about the organization that was working to help him. He saw how items people are no longer using become the materials needed to keep hands busy for work therapy, eventually to become sold in Salvation Army stores to people with limited incomes. And how through these shops with their dignified atmosphere, the endless cycle is completed, whereby donors of usable materials help the men's social service centers to become self-supporting. Mike learned, too, that the Salvation Army stores may be known by slightly different names in different parts of the country. Just as the colors of the trucks may differ across the nation, but that their purposes and accomplishments are the same wherever you go. For the Salvation Army operates these centers throughout the country to help many men, much like Mike, to overcome their emotional handicaps. And as time went by, Mike was making his own kind of progress.
I've come to realize the reason I lost all those jobs is because I tried too hard. I've just been too much of a perfectionist for my own good.
Have you figured out why you've been a perfectionist?
No. But if I do, I'll sure let you know, Major.
Well, when you get that answer, you won't need me. There is something, however, you could do now. It's about Dave. Does he talk to you at all?
No. No, I figure he's not the talkative kind.
Well, he's not responding to our program. I thought perhaps you might bring him out of his shell.
Oh, not me, Major. You think I'm my brother's keeper or something? Hey, Dave. Listen, there's something maybe you can tell me. Dave? Wait a minute, Dave. I don't want to hurt you. I just want to talk to you.
I don't want to talk.
Okay.
Everybody wants to talk. Nobody got anything to say. What do you know what it's like in prison? Seeing the same faces through the same bars. Every day. 10 years of it. After the first week, what's there to talk about? How was your shave today? I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't trust anybody.
Dave, you wouldn't have run in here if you didn't trust somebody.
Oh, God, help me.
He already has, Dave. He's helping us both.
Where does a man first find himself at the center? When a man seeks spiritual help, his recovery is pronounced. The progress of Michael Adams was such that we felt he was ready to face up to his hardest issues.
Hi, Major.
Another full load, Mike.
Don't let it fool you, Major. I really should have gotten some better donations.
Still the perfectionist.
No, Major. That has nothing to do with it.
Yes, it has, Mike. It's all tied in with your occupational wanderlust. You see, Mike, you're not a perfectionist because you really want to have things perfect. It's because you know you can't be perfect. That's always been your beautiful excuse. How many jobs must you go through, Mike? How many wives? Before you realize that somewhere there's one of each waiting to accept you as you really are.
Mike found a deeper understanding of himself than he had ever known before. He couldn't describe the feeling to himself, but he could share it.
What happened? I thought you had it licked.
I shall never stop wanting it.
Oh, Tom. Man, you laid off for a year, over a year. Why would you... Wait a minute. You've been going outside a lot looking for a job. It's a frightening prospect leaving all the sheltered life here at the center, isn't it? What are you afraid of most, Tom? Failure?
Lay off. Lay off.
See, that's it. You take one drink and you figure you're excused from even trying to avoid failures.
Who do you think you are? Don't you know nobody's perfect?
Well, I didn't know it, Tom. But I think I've learned it. See, I use perfectionism for my excuse for failure. That's my problem. Then there's your problem. What are we going to do about him, Tom?
I don't know much about your problem, but there is something you can do for mine. Get rid of this for me, will you?
You know, another thing I like about group therapy, it's kind of like marriage. There's a lot of give and take.
What about your different marriages, Mike?
I don't think Mike gave up on his first one yet.
You're right. When I lost Alice, I kept searching for someone like her. I guess that's why I married all those other times. If I can make it on the outside, I'm going to ask Alice to come back.
What if she doesn't?
Well, then I'll just get by as best I can.
Mike, you know, you're beginning to sound like one of our successful graduates.
Along with continued work therapy, Mike started a systematic search for an outside job.
You're hired. That's what the man said, Major, and he said it to me.
It's a wonderful accomplishment when one of these men pulls through and gets back on his own 2 feet. After several years, Mike is still working for the same company, but not on the same job, as he's earned several promotions. Family life was an even more difficult accomplishment, but he eventually persuaded someone named Alice to again become Mrs. Michael Adams. And from all the reports we hear back at the center, it looks like he's become a regular part of community life.
For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me.